the dangerous guy was born before sales consultant or after sales consultant?
I still know enough to be dangerous. Sometimes, I guess. Sometimes I shoot some issues over to my performance colleagues, and they go like, okay, he's not like he knows nothing.
Yeah.
It seems like he knows enough to be dangerous. But also a big part of my job is focusing on communities, and that includes the Orclace program, but also user groups, and just very recently, also educational programs with universities.
Nice. And it's a hard work. Do all of these things for the community, for the conference.
Yeah, it's great work, and it's of course it's a lot of work, but it's enjoyable work. So I don't think of it as like. And like for people who understand the ACE program, it's similar to that. It's like the recognition program for people that work in the or contribute to the cloud native community. And I think we are better in the ACE program than the CNCF.
This is nice because you're responsible for a program in Oracle, and you also is part as a member in another program, so you can have these two sides of experience.
Exactly. See, remember when I said developers go like he's dangerous, he knows how to develop. Like also for aces, I'm dangerous because I am like an ace on the other side too. So
you like to be a dangerous guy. I can see now. I understand.
Yeah. So
you're like infiltrated. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the GoldenTalks session. And today I have a really special guest, and he is one of the guys behind the Oracle Ace programs. And do you know who I'm talking about? Yes, it's Gerald. And hello, Gerald. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah. Thank you for having time to have this talk. I'm very happy to have you here in the GoldenTalks. And can you please tell us what are you doing right now in Oracle? Please do a short presentation about yourself, please.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, I'm in part of product management for Oracle Database. As such, I have a couple of different areas under me. I'm focusing on the application developer functionality in Oracle Database, and also lately some more AI functionalities. But also a big part of my job is focusing on communities, and that includes the Oracle Ace program, but also user groups, and just very recently, also educational programs with universities.
Oh, really good. Really nice. Do all of these things for the community, for the conference.
Yeah, it's great work. It's of course it's a lot of work, but it's enjoyable work. So I don't think of it as like hard work or too much work. It's like I enjoy every bit of it.
Nice. And seeing your career, you worked for many times as a technical guy, as a DBA in addition. And can you tell us how everything began? How was your career? How your career started?
Yeah, let me maybe even go a tiny bit further back. So why did I even go into IT? I think I find the story funny. I don't know whether others have a similar kind of background to it or story to it, but I was really keen on video games, and when I played video games, I was really intrigued by well, how does when I press a button on this keyboard, back then obviously still with cables attached, but how does that make something on the screen light up? How does that work? And I have been very much into electronics from an early start as a childhood, and then eventually wanted to learn more about computers. And I sort of got lucky probably a couple of times. But originally, I wanted to actually work on personal computers. Like there was a time when changing graphic cards and changing CPUs and maybe overclocking CPUs was very popular. And I really wanted to do that because I had this interest in electronics, and I wanted to understand how this all works. But then I very quickly seen that it's actually much, like swapping a graphic card or something is like, yeah, not that much interesting as it is to be able to type something on a keyboard and now the thing does something. So the computer does something, right? So then it was again like, how does me typing something on the keyboard get me to like the computer doing what I wanted to do. How does that work? And that was sort of the introduction into IT. And I did an apprenticeship in Austria for software engineering, which was back then like pretty brand new. It kind of that was in the like literally just around 2000. And yeah, that basically taught me being a programmer. And my first job was essentially building an ERP system, an enterprise resource planning system uh, that happened to run on an Oracle database, like in the early 2000s. Like I was sort of lucky that I came out of school and you had an Oracle database or SQL Server. Or if you built a website, you have MySQL. I mean, the teacher back then literally told us, if you build a website, use PHP and MySQL. That was very popular back then. You probably will end up using SQL Server, and if you can really afford it, then you really want the Ferrari and the best of the best, and that is Oracle database. And I happened to work for a software company building such an ERP system that used an Oracle database as its backend. So it did a lot of, uh, on one hand, programming also in PL SQL or PL SQL. And SQL, and there was a front end system on top of that. This was way before Java server pages and now Node.js and so forth. But also we were, back then it wasn't really a thing. We were only 6 people in the company. The company was around for 3 years. Like nowadays, people in the Silicon Valley would say, it's a startup. You fantastic. I work for a startup. I guess I worked for a startup without knowing it back then. I was more like, yeah, we're a tiny company. So I kind of also, we were all like programmer, DBA, doc writer, like support engineer and so forth.
Maybe it was
Um,
not called like that in that period, but probably it's like a startup nowadays, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it wasn't joyful, but yeah, so that's how I got into like the DBA part of it as well. We kind of did everything wrong we could do wrong with Oracle when we built the software. We didn't use bind variables. We had no idea what redo logs were and so forth. So I kind of, due to customer complaints, really saying like every time you give us an update, your software gets slower and slower as the software got bigger and bigger. Um,
Mhm.
we kind of had a necessity of going more into the database administration and also performance tuning side. So that I then found really challenging and really interesting. So I did a couple of years as performance engineer, like purely focusing on tuning originally Oracle database systems, because that was where I came out of. But then we approached the J2E time or JEE time, and that was essentially when Java server application servers became popular, and there were a lot of performance problems with people like me not knowing what code they write and not using bind variables also in that front. So focused a lot on that. And yeah, that then I'm not sure how much of the whole story you want, but like I did that for a while, and that got me into, and so that was all in Austria, where I'm born and raised from. But that job I found a performance engineering job for an American company who happened to have an office in Austria. Joined that, and then over some time, they offered me to go to New York and continue to work there, basically in what was their headquarters back then. So I moved to New York, went into like the sort of consulting side of the house or the field side of the house. So I was then going to customers and troubleshoot performance issues with the software of this new company, just like I've done before in development for the company in Austria. That was quite enjoyable, and that actually got me to Oracle. It was a long way to get to Oracle, but one of the companies we provided software for, so that company in New York was a financial services software company. So they provided basically a software for data cleansing for data. And what they back then did was they consolidated on Exadata machines on X22s back then, I believe it was. That was late 2000s, just before 2010. And or maybe already in 2010. But that company, the customer of my previous company and Oracle's customer, the company, the bank basically that wanted to consolidate on Exadata, did a proof of concept for all these database applications, including ours, to make sure they run on Exadata. Back then, it was a fairly new technology. It was the third generation, and we never, as my previous company, we never certified on Exadata. So we said we don't know whether it will work or not, and that bank basically paid us to do a proof of concept for 2 weeks to test our software on Exadata, and that oddly enough happened in the UK. So I was sent to London to test it there. or heading the bigger office that Oracle had there. And this is where I got my first introduction to some Oracle colleagues, or now Oracle colleagues.
Okay.
Went back to New York, was there for a couple of years, kind of looked for a new job. Wasn't on a green card, was on a visa that was company bound. I kind of never really wanted to stay in the States. Still don't necessarily want to, but back then I was like, I'm going back to Austria, and I pinged one of the Oracle people that I got to know from the UK, whether they could introduce me to somebody at Oracle Austria. Maybe I find a job there. So basically, find a job before I move back home. And that person, that colleague who's still around, he was actually like, "Hey, yeah, I can introduce you, but we're looking for somebody in the UK. Would you want to come to London?" And that was in times when the UK was part of the EU, and visas were no issues and nothing like that. So it was not that simple move. It was basically like, "Do you want to move back to Austria or just stay a year in London?" And I did that. And that was a pre-sales job in Oracle. So it was an Oracle pre-sales, basically going to customers on behalf of Oracle, trying to sell Oracle database functionality, trying to sell Oracle database, and that involved this proof of concept. So that colleague who got me in was basically back then the counterpart that I had from a previous company. And I did that for a couple of years and enjoyed that a lot. And yeah, I mean, eventually, if you're a good pre-sales guy asking tough questions, how does this work? Why does this not work? Or what if this worked like that?
Mhm.
You inevitably end up at the radar of product management. And back
Okay.
then, my former boss, she's no longer with Oracle, but she was in the Bay Area in San Francisco. She asked me, "Hey, do you would you like to come over to the Bay Area and work for Oracle database product management?" That was in 2015. And, that was a didn't really want to necessarily go back to the States, not because I like it or don't like it. I was always thinking of like a
Mhm.
couple of years in a foreign country, then go back home. And I already done two foreign countries. But I thought, Silicon Valley, if you got the chance to work for headquarters for 1, 2 years, then you do that. And yeah, I just passed my 10-year anniversary here. So it's like every time I change country, it gets longer and longer. And that's
Mhm.
that's how I
Mhm.
got where I am.
Nice, nice. Yeah. Okay. A lot of things and nice journey from now so far. And let's go back a little bit because I have some questions about the other the experience that you had before. So when you finished the school, you was presented like two options, like SQL Server and Oracle, and you went to Oracle Works. And after that, I'm checking here your LinkedIn also to have more ideas, and you started to work with performance and troubleshooting things, which leads you for most of the time of your tech experience, right?
Yeah, I think so. I actually, indeed, going back, it's like the time I was purely a software engineer was actually rather short. It was only a couple of years. I think I didn't even manage 10 years of that. It was very quickly like software engineering plus, and the performance engineering side, that was predominantly what I did for this previous American company. So whether it was in Austria when I was part of engineering, and yeah, we just we verified new software releases. So we would trace through new release candidates and so forth, find problems, the regressions, or find opportunities to make the software better. Then in New York, it was just troubleshooting on that behalf. But yeah, that was an interesting. I mean, I still like chasing these performance problems. I kind of like being sort of a Sherlock Holmes of like,
Mhm.
like what's wrong? Why is it wrong? Like what causes this? I guess that comes back to the original curiosity of like, how does when I press a button on a keyboard, something on a screen in front of me change, right? Why is this the way it is? And performance tuning has a lot of that. It's like, what's the cause? What's the issue there? And I still know enough to be dangerous. Sometimes, I guess. Sometimes I shoot some issues over to my performance colleagues, and they go like, "Okay, he's not like he knows nothing." It seems like he knows enough to be dangerous. But that's been a long time
Mhm.
as well.
Once you are a technical guy and working with the troubleshooting and performance, you're gonna use this knowledge in everywhere. I always say like that. Once a tech guy, you're always gonna be a tech guy. Even doing other types of work, you you have um, these tech things to understand what is happening in detail, right?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. It actually drives my wife nuts. But like once you're a tech guy, you approach things very differently. Very much like okay, if this happens, then this cannot happen, or this must be happening. And then if this is happening, you approach it very pragmatic. And
Yes.
sometimes I'm like, yeah, well, it's like, you have this problem, let me tell you how to fix it, or don't tell me about these other five things. It's like, if the problem is
Yes.
X, these other three things cannot apply. Why are we talking about these? But yeah,
Mhm.
I like it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
I
gives
like
you
it too.
yeah, it gives you a lot of good opportunity. There's another benefit to tech. I always thought, just on that note, because we're literally having this right now. I think it's yet another universal language, or another language people speak, right? So it's like, we can all speak English and communicate with each other. We can all speak Spanish and communicate with each other. But it truly is like, techie to techie, they can speak to each other, oddly enough, even if they don't speak the same language, right? It's almost like, yeah, I can show you a piece of code, and even there, which programming language it is, doesn't matter so much. And the other person will understand. And I've always thought that there's not a lot of industries. There are some others, of course, but there's not a lot of industries that give you this broad spectrum of, like, you can pretty much talk with any other person from anywhere else in the world, different language, different culture, but you have this common base of how you approach tech. And I find that is pretty good. Although, yeah, you should really not do the thumbs down there. The emoji that
So,
popped up there.
yeah. Yeah. And this is the magic of IT. Even if it's based in English, all the manuals and other things, what you said, it's the magic of IT. You can learn everywhere in the world and you can use in everywhere. This is
Yes.
fantastic.
Yes, it true. Yeah, it is literally as you said. It's You can learn it wherever, you can use it wherever. It's really a universal skill.
Nice. So, and you grew up in Austria. You had the first opportunity in Austria. Then you moved to London. Then went back to Austria.
No, I moved to New
No,
York, from Austria
New
to New
York.
York, from New York to London, from London to
To
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay.
Yeah,
So you never went back to Austria
and only
after the
for holiday. I mean, I'm
holiday.
flying
Okay.
back next week for Christmas, but yeah, no,
Okay.
I never went back.
Uh, okay. Okay. Nice. This sounds interesting, and it's also a big journey because moving to another country has have a lot of challenges, right?
It is, yeah, it's different. I don't know how to describe it. It was very interesting to see that some friends back home that were like, point blank told me I could never do what you're doing, because you're literally leaving, like, your entire comfort zone behind, right? It's like, it's already something moving within the country somewhere else, very far away from your friends and your family. But it's something entirely different, where you go like, okay, I'm moving, not even the same country, not even the same language, no friends, no family, hours of flights away. Which, as an Austrian, our country isn't that big, so hours of flights away means a lot. Like the US, I've learned it means not much. But yeah, it's a big step. And again, it's a life experience, I want to say. So, it's like, you learn a lot by doing that. Just even if you go to a foreign country and come back, even you learn a lot by leaving that your comfort zone. You all of a sudden much more realize your limits, your passions. You also realize a lot, I find anyway, but that, what's important and what not, right? It's like, leaving your friends and family behind. And like, you have simple issues like, oh, I'm sick and I need to get, medication or whatever. It's like, yeah, you go sick to the doctor, because there isn't nobody here. So there's a lot of these kind of things in there. But it was a great experience. I recommend everybody at least to go abroad for a bit. Opens your horizon. I think there's a famous quote of some author from that I cannot remember, but that says, if you travel, you open your horizons. That's certainly true. And because different cultures, different ways of how you interact, it's good to see and experience.
Yeah, yeah. I learned this since last year. I started traveling, and everything that you are saying, I could experience and see. When once you had the opportunity to go to another country, your mind it's like explode to how many options and things really nicer that if you don't do this, you'll not be able to have this experience.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. And I've also found that, deep down we all have the same values. It's like, there's what media and everything tells you. It's like deep down, we're all very much the same. We want, good life for us and our families. We want to usually do the right thing. It's kind of, yeah, it was nice to explore that, see that as well. It's like that we are not really not that different on the core levels. And then, of course, there's a lot of great cultures and, things that are different. And that's great to explore. But all human beings that have the same core values as well.
Good. And with this trip that you have in Austria, Manhattan, London, and San Francisco, I suppose you have some funny or weird or story that you could share with us that, oh my God, many years passed and I still remember this or that. It was great, it was nice, it was weird. I try to remember one thing because I if you ask it to me,
Mhm.
the people that know me will know that I have many crazy things. Tell what happened this year in the streets that I had. Things that it's like a novel. It's like
Yeah,
a novel. Yeah,
novel, yeah,
all
book,
right.
kind of
Yes.
book in its
Uh,
own right. Yeah.
it could not be true, but yes, it happened to me. And tell me what about you, Gerald?
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Yeah, there were a lot of. So I had it quite fun because I moved in my early 20s to Manhattan, and it was just in when this credit crisis happened. So Manhattan was actually affordable because the prices came down. So that alone was fun, being in your early 20s in Manhattan or mid 20s in Manhattan. I think funny or like one funny anecdote was when this turned out to be later not true, but I was there at a time when in 2009 or 10, I believe it was 10 or 11, when a hurricane was supposed to hit New York. And like big hurricane, biggest ever, or whatever. Or at least the news made a big deal about it. It's like this hurricane is coming, and I guess because hurricanes usually don't come that far up to Manhattan, and I had no idea what to expect. We don't have hurricanes in Austria, so it's like I basically ignored
The
it.
same in Brazil. We have no idea what it is.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
on the TV.
So I completely ignored it, and I remember there was like this one. Well, the hurricane was supposed to hit on a weekend, and actually to an inland and never hit Manhattan. But like that Saturday, I kind of walked out and like lower Manhattan. I was on the Lower East Side. I lived in the Lower East Side. It was a ghost town, and I just was like, "What's going on? Like, why is everything shut? Why is everything closed, etc." And yeah, only to like on Monday, colleagues were like, "Oh, thank God the hurricane turned away, etc." And I was like, "So why was everything closed on Saturday?" And apparently, it was a thing to kind of close things up and flee from the hurricane that never came. Now, of course, a couple of years later, I was gone, but then Sandy hit and took out the power, so that was a whole different story. So maybe they had a point, and I just got lucky. Yeah, the other fun story there, maybe it's not. I mean, I don't know how fun they are. They were fun to me back then because I was like, you're in the US, and it's like like how to say, it's like this certain thing of like we're the best, and we don't, we're the land of the brave, etc. And you're like, where's everybody? Why is everybody making a big deal out of this? I don't get it. It's like doesn't seem to be the land of the brave. No disrespect to anybody. It was just something, a cultural difference back then because I had no clue what a hurricane was. And they said like the next hurricane that came that hit quite badly, and luckily I was gone. And I'm sad for the people, the friends I made in New York that did tell me, yeah, we are without a power for like the second week now. And it's like boiling water to have warm water and so forth. So, but yeah, that was like the non-hurricane was a fun story. The other maybe fun story was the first time it snowed. It's like I was just walking into the office, and because again, Austria snow is nothing new. And I was alone because like this was a common thing that if there's a bit of snow on the streets, you don't you don't go to the office. It's like there wasn't snow on the street. It was this much. This is not snow for us. We took a meter higher, that's or 3 feet higher for the non-metric system people, where we go like this is snow before we don't really consider. I mean, yeah, it's like literally call it like, yeah, we have a bit of sugar on the street. It's like a little bit like powder sugary everywhere, but it's not snow. That was fun as well. That experience, by the way, made in London as well. It's like the same thing when I was in London, like it snowed and nobody showed up again, and I was like, what's going on? It's like it makes no sense to me.
Nice, nice. This is really amazing. The things that it's really different that you cannot experience in your country and you don't know, and then you come to another country for the day, it's like okay, it's common, you're used to, but for people that had never had this experience before, it's something
Yeah.
really, really amazing. Yeah. Because I never saw the snow like in US, for instance, but last year I had the opportunity to go to Chile, and okay, there are kind of snow there, and to us, it was, oh my God, this is really nice.
Oh wow, yeah, that's interesting. You say that. I just had another colleague of mine who, for the first time, experienced snow, and like in his 30s, and that indeed is
Mm.
something that or maybe he was in his late 20s, but yeah, indeed, that's unthinkable for me because like there's snow every year. You grow up with it, right? Before you can think, you have already gone through 1 year of snow, so it's just a thing. And there's people that
That's-
have never seen snow, and I'm like, wow, how is that possible? But it is, yeah.
yes, yes, nice. So, and going back to the timeline, you was saying about your Oracle experience, but I have one question before we continue, because before that, you was working with Oracle, you worked with Exadata, with Java programming, troubleshooting, firms, and so on. And do you have a desire to work in Oracle? Like many DBAs that work with Oracle have this dream. Oh my God, I want to work with Oracle one day. And when you, before Oracle, was working with all of these technologies, do you had this desire too? Or it happened, or the opportunity just came?
I no, I did. Early on when I was still a developer, I mean, I never actively pursued it as such, but that like that I managed to do this POC with Oracle and then have contacts to Oracle. That was pure luck to some extent because I was even not the first person that was supposed to go there, but I ended up going to do the POC. But when I was a software engineer early on in this first company where I built the ERP system, it's like again, we go back to the early 2000s. This was like a time where Oracle and Oracle database was particularly strong, and there was not too many other companies around. It was like a whole different time. And what I found back then always was, I would look through the documentation and how to use like some PLC code package or function, and I would go through the APIs, and I would be like, why are they doing this? This is dumb. And then, the more I tried to use it and did use it, I go like, now I see why they're doing that. And I found out as I kept working more and more with Oracle, that the software was really, really well engineered. And, like I sort of was like, well, in our 6 people company, we cut a lot of corners. Now, reality is, I think in the end, I found out everybody cuts corners. There's only so many hours in the day and so many people you have and deadlines. But back then I thought, wow, Oracle, this is kind of where software engineering is done right. And that was early on, but I never really was like, like at that stage, Oracle was sort of out of reach because like going into Oracle development would have meant going to California and and applying for a job and relocating for a job and getting a visa and then that we couldn't just like a lot has changed now where we have a lot of engineers worldwide and even product managers worldwide. That was not even the case back then. So I kind of never made it a goal of mine, but when the opportunity arose, I was like, yeah, I mean, working for Oracle. I mean, more so actually coming to Silicon Valley when I had this like, you want to come from London to San Francisco, coming to Silicon Valley to work at the Oracle headquarter in development at one of the biggest software companies in the world. Yeah, that was that was an opportunity where I didn't say no. I mean, at that stage, I was also already like my mid 20s have passed, and the question came up of like, well, how many times do you still want to kind of change country and so forth before you actually say, this is where I stay. And this was an opportunity that I discussed with a lot of people back then, like even colleagues in Oracle in the UK, like people that I befriended. It's like, should I do it or should I not? Right? It's like it's a big step again. It's like London and Austria. It's like very close, and flying home was easy, and the time zone was only 1 hour difference, and like. But yeah, in the end, I jumped on that opportunity. Just like I thought it would not occur again. It's like we'll not get a second chance probably to go to Silicon Valley and experience that. And yeah, and I never regretted it in that sense. I mean, I never regretted it. I never regretted coming here. I mean, obviously, 10 years later, I'm still here at Oracle for the same job role. I mean, a couple of titles have changed. And, like, I mean, in the beginning, I was just, we call an individual contributor. I was just Jodo Gerald product manager that built slides and built some code samples and so forth, and new GitHub. It's like the guy's dangerous. Magic new tool then. But yeah,
And
no,
for sure, it was a big decision that you should make because a lot of change, moving country again.
yeah, and it was I said I never regretted it, and like it literally slowed down. It's like I was 2.5 years or so in New York. That was not very long, and I was almost 4 years in London, or 3.5 years or something, right? And now it's 10 years. So my wife keeps on going that like, oh, at one point you will tell me we move to Japan or something, but it's like the way how the track record goes. If we move one more time, probably there for the next 40 years, and that will be it. If we move at all.
Nice. And seeing here your profile and your experiences after you joined Oracle, you worked for a while principal sales consultant, then you started as a product manager for many years. And can you discuss a little bit? Can you talk a little bit about this experience? How is the work as a product manager? And these have had um, any relation to you starting helping community, or how you can say that after how you started working with community and ACE program?
Yeah, that is actually another fun story, but let me get to it. So, yeah, I mean the work as pre-sales, just too quickly, because that was my first time in Oracle, and I actually quite enjoyed that too, because that was really going to customers solving real problems, right? It's like we would go to the companies in London, which London has a lot of big ones, right? All the major banks are there and so forth. So the problems were of decent size as well. It's like I still remember one bank had, or all the banks had, this requirement to report any trades happening, any online trades happening, whether it's a person or company, etc., within 60 seconds to the Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA. Like anytime that trade changes states, that you have to send that update to the Financial Conduct Authority, and the 60 seconds is, if you do billion trades, like in billions of trades in a day, especially state changes in a day, two trades, like placed and bought and settled and whatever. That was a super interesting problem. I mean, still is a super interesting problem. And you get in there and you go like, hey, I have this man, this toolkit Oracle database, and how can I can we address it, and how can we address it? So you were again back to this, like, how, not so much like how does this work if I push a button that this happens, but if I want this to happen, which buttons do I need to push? So it's like, how do I apply Oracle database technology to solve these issues or help solve those issues? And so that was interesting in itself, and I enjoyed the time being there, because it felt like you were actually providing real value. So it's like, although I know that some people, like sometimes, the sales department in general never has a good reputation, regardless where you look. But I genuinely, because I didn't have to close the deal as pre-sales or sales consultant, and I wasn't compensated on the deal alone, I genuinely never ever had a single situation where I was pitching something to a customer that I thought was wrong. I wouldn't solve the issue. I just want your money. So I was always very proud of that. Like in pre-sales, that was a lucky position to have. So I really always felt myself like, no, I'm really putting forward the best I can. And I even had conversations with customers where I said, look, we cannot help you for this problem. It's just like there's either other Oracle technology that's better suited for it, or like what do you want to do here is not a database problem. Look for something else. Now, product manager.
And
Yeah.
the dangerous guy was born before sales consultant or after sales consultant?
I think before. So, like to just jump ahead to that, right? It's like the fun part now is our engineers, the people who write C code in the Oracle database. I had one guy, he's actually like sort of a couple of offices big there. He's like, when I kind of checked out his in-flight transaction in our own system and looked through it and told him, dude, you got this and this wrong. He was like, he literally said, why do you know this, you product manager? And I had to explain to him, it's like, yeah, but I'm a software engineer by trade. I mean, this is literally what this is my profession. I'm technically a software engineer. Just haven't done it for the longest time, be actively paid to do it in free time. But And yeah,
He's
he was like,
scared him.
yeah, he was like, wow. I mean, this, like this is no. I don't mean this in any other way other than it's a fact that most product managers in Oracle database have DBA's backgrounds, which makes a lot of sense when you think of it, right? There's very few of us who actually have a software engineering. Right? I mean, everybody is dangerous enough with PL SQL, etc. But going into some C code and debug it through, and I'm not saying I understand all of it because it's a very huge and very sophisticated, long or old or long code base, if you like. It's like 30 years of engineering in there, which in itself is impressive if you're a software engineer. And you look at it and you go like, wow, for 30 years you can't, like, there's a file that that thing didn't change for 30 years, or for 20 years, and how does this? But yeah, no, product manager itself, to go back to that, that was also an interesting ride because I came over into the overall product management team. And back then, the lady, my boss back then, who brought me over and who's no longer with Oracle, she quite literally said back then, hey, we sort of need to approach the developers more and be able to convey to them why they should use Oracle database. And she also said most of us, don't really have the background. And it's like, here are you, this guy who is who knows how to write applications and even says he's a developer, but knows Oracle really, really well. That's not a combination you find that often. Because I built Oracle systems on Oracle and then had this performance tuning and then pre-sales aspect, I could go in and I understand like how advanced compression works, and then we want to do that, we want to compress right away, and but we wait for the block to fill up to a size when it makes sense to compress so that not every insert is impacted. But on the same side, I can sit down and go like, yeah, here's how you just get some vectors into the database with some Python code. One of the last things I've played around with. And so she got me over and into the what we call the overall product management team, which technically I'm still am. Of course, a lot of things have changed, but the way how we are structured here is we have a lot of product managers, all of them fantastic people, and some of them are feature product managers. So there's like a product management team for vector search specifically under Maria Colgan. People have maybe heard of her name. And she has a team, and they focus very specifically on this functionality. We have product managers for rack, for security, etc. Then there's product managers that are more aligned to like, okay, where's the market going, and where's the go-to market, and what do we have to position how, what's the competition doing? That sort of falls in the remit of product management, at least here at Oracle. And the overall product management team is sort of like where all of these things come together. So like in the good old, like 10 years ago, part of my job was then when the security guys, for example, ship the feature, I will make sure that that would work with compression or vice versa. When the replicate when we introduce the new data type, the replication guys would kind of be aware of that and so forth. So really like making sure that all the different bits and pieces come together, which in itself is a very interesting and challenging. That one is challenging task because you have a lot of smart people, like that write a lot of good code, and it's all coming at you at once. And of course, I was not the only one, but it's like as a just like you just to keep up with all the other people, engineers and product managers, and like finding the time in the day to formulate the cohesive product. That is really really interesting, and I still do this to some part. But yeah, I mean, I did this for several years. I think the first step into community was not so much the ACE program. I haven't forgotten about the fun story there, but the first step was that um, I thought so my boss got me over and sort of was like, hey, you know how to talk to developers, you should come over. And yeah, I could talk to developers. I mean, I could basically look at their app and their code and understand what they're doing, and sort of speak the language. Coming back to like, if you're techie kind of thing, right? If you're a developer, you can easily talk to other developers, right? Um, but the first step into community was when I told her, look, this isn't enough. We kind of, with like a developer evangelism was a real thing back then. It still is there. I think, things have changed again. Like we're talking 10 years of difference now, which is a lifetime in IT. But I told her, look, we have to kind of build some real developer evangelism efforts. There were efforts here and there, but we should build a real one. And that was actually then when I found this guy who was working for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure at the time, OCI. I was like, he's really good. It's like he is also a developer by trade. I can teach him database. He can go out, and he was a JavaScript guy mostly, and he can talk to people how to build systems on top of that on OCI with Oracle Database Cloud Services, which back then was all pretty new at that stage still. And a little did I know that he was like, sounds good, then he should report to you. And I was like, what do you mean report to me? And I fought being a manager for I think 2 years successfully. Eventually HR told me, like you have 2 or 3 people now, you cannot be not a manager on a job title. And there's no big deal with that. It's just when you change to job title with manager, there's a couple of emails that you get and processes that you have to deal with that you don't have to deal with otherwise. So kind of I wasn't very keen on that, but that changed, and I had like a small team that we focused on developer outreach. And by now, like this has kind of morphed into quite a bit more. We just hired Matt, who came from MongoDB, ran DevRel in MongoDB. So it's quite a big team now, and we consolidated over there to do, again, like developer evangelism has changed altogether a bit. So we've changed our approach there as well. But the ACE program, that's sort of also, it's like, I don't want to say ended up by accident. I mean, I sort of fought for it. But essentially what happened back then is it was under marketing, and marketing went through a couple of changes. For people who followed the history, we had like a CMO emerge, 2 of them actually, and they're gone, both of them again. But they had different feelings of like how things should be running, etc. And at some point, we reached a point where I guess, and you may have actually seen this because this was so during the pandemic, where marketing felt like that the ACE program should be something very different from what its inception was. Like the ACE program is in its core, like putting the external advocates like yourself, into the spotlight, right? It's like you're all doing great stuff. You're basically telling people on our behalf of like how great Oracle technology is, and Oracle should give something in return. And back then, not to dwell too much onto history, but it's sort of, yeah, marketing had a different idea. They wanted, they wanted to broaden it and have like, like social media was more important than the individual's contributions. I put it this way. And so here's the fun story, right? So it's like I always wanted to be an ace, but when I was in the position that I wasn't an Oracle employee, um, I couldn't get in because at that stage it was still an environment where you sort of had to be referred from other aces. And so I didn't really know any other aces, right? But I kind of like I had aces on my radar for the longest time because when I was a performance engineer, or even when we built this ERP system and we ran into these issues. I mean, I learned about bind variables from ACES blog, right? That you shouldn't do this. And then you find it in the concepts guide and so forth, right? I learned about a lot of performance tuning from ACES, right? It's like from these blogs that you followed of those people who knew Oracle really, really, really well. And they all happened to be ACES. So I was like, oh, this is amazing. So I knew from the ACE program very early on. And even when I was a product manager, I tried to work with the ACES wherever I could, and however I could. And then when this opportunity arose, I mean, let's call it opportunity, right? It was in the end. I think everything has turned out to the better. But when basically there was this decision of marketing wanted to do something else, I went to my boss back then and informed her of what's happening. And we went together to Andy Mendelsohn, who was back then our executive vice president, who reported directly to Larry. And we told him, look, now I can say the other people are gone. It's like, we were like, look, we should take it, right? If they don't want it, we should take it. There's a lot of really, really good people in the program that know at least database really well. And I know full and well that the ACE program does more than database. And we have kept it running as such as well. But back then I did go to Andy and with my boss, and she agreed and say like, look, if they don't want it, we should take it, right? Like, we shouldn't let them change it to something it's not. They can do whatever they want. They can create their own program or whatever, but we should take it over. And there again, it was sort of like, yes, we should do it. And then they agreed and was also quite surprised that they wanted to go that direction. But it's like, where you put it? Well, Gerald, you asked for it, so it's like I never said I want it. But they were like, well, Gerald, you asked for it. It's like, where should we put it? It's like,
Now it's yours.
like, yeah,
Take it.
exactly. Like, dude, it's like you cannot come with a solution or with a recommendation without providing the solution. So you are the solution. And that's eventually how it ended up under me. And like I mean, even now that I look at it, right, I'm a big fan uh, of the ACE program and of the ACEs, and I'm happy that it happened that way and that it allowed me also to, um, now more than ever, actually steer the program also into new directions, which I think will ultimately just be beneficial to everybody, right? To the aces that are in the program, to the program itself, to new aces we're trying to get in, and of course Oracle as well, but also to the individuals in the program.
Nice.
Then I got you.
By the
Sorry.
I say, by the way, if you're watching and I asking maybe what is ACE program, here's gonna appear a link so you can see and you can click, of course, and share with others. Okay.
Yeah, you definitely need to check it out. As said, hang on, there we go. I should really have put it on the whiteboard there behind. Um, but yeah,
And if maybe you next year go to the AI world, there are gonna have a lot of swags there, right?
yeah. So
Swags
actually,
there.
yeah. So if you happen to go to AI World or other events. Not every event, we will probably not be every event, but we will have swag there. Cool items, cool things you can, like take home. We had like water bottles, we had stickers, we had, there's the Linux Penguin in there.
Remember this one? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we even gave those away, right? There's like database sticker here. But yeah, there's cool things there and to pick up, but also we will plan is to expand the ACE area altogether. From like this year, we had nice space there as well. We had like sort of a lounge setup, but we want to do more there as well, where ACEs and people who want to learn about the ACE program can come and meet and network and learn from each other and talk about the technology they love the best and talk about experiences shared a little bit like how we do here. So we definitely will be working on that. Every year is a bit of a surprise how much the space, the floor plan, what it looks like, as you kind of always try to fit into a bigger event, and you kind of can never quite say from the get go what you get from the events team, but we always try to do more and better. And also, if you're not coming to AI World, we are omnipresent on the internet. You really don't have to be at an event if you don't happen to be in a position where you can or like to travel. We have free webinars that ACES give to tell you about technology. We have just launched a new level, the apprentice level, that went literally, we launched it at AI World and it went live 2 days ago of time of this recording on Monday, on the 8th of December. And so there's a lot of good activities out there. You can find us on LinkedIn, you can find us on X, you can find us on Blue Sky, and of course on ace.org.com as well. That felt now like a product, like a pitch. I guess it was a pitch for the ACE program. That's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly, like we just crossed. Fun fact: there's 650 earlier this week. ACES, that is. So not apprentices excluding. We just crossed 650, I believe, ACES worldwide, with know-how and all sorts of different Oracle technologies. So that's pretty good because it was actually never that high. So that's like from all the records I got when I took over, we have there's no indication that the ACE program has ever been that big, that we ever had that big of a community, and I'm not done yet by a long shot. So more will be coming for ACES, for the community, and hopefully more ACES will be coming.
Nice. And I'm very happy to be in this list of more than 600 aces.
Yeah, we are very grateful for having you. I mean, again, this is literally why we are talking now, right? It's like it connected us, and that I'm here on the
Yes,
Golden
that's
Talks,
right.
right?
Yes, yes. The ACE program, you're gonna learn a lot of things, meet a lot of person, and one of the coolest things that you're gonna have the opportunity to have a network with people, with professionals, really nice, which are always looking for the new things and coolest thing that it's happened in the Oracle technology. And to me, it's one of the things that I really enjoy to be part of the program and share knowledge and information, of course.
Yeah.
And as you're talking about this, and I'm from Brazil, we have a big event here in Brazil. So maybe next year or when, Gerald, would you come to Brazil to be part of our conference here?
I I would love to. I cannot guarantee it. Like one downside you get for having more people reporting to you, more things to do, is that your time of traveling between, like being there for the family and doing your day job is getting less and less. But I would love to. I've actually never been to Brazil, and that's been on my list for a long time. I was almost about to go in 2020 for the community tour, but that didn't happen for other reasons.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's definitely on my list, and I would love to. I would love to. So definitely put it like a. I'll see what I can come to the conference. I'll definitely put it on my to-do list to submit, and hopefully get there.
Okay, nice. So we are waiting for you. Okay.
Like I said, like no guarantees because we may like wait for a long time.
Okay, but it's recorded. It's recorded.
Right.
Okay. And you said this year we had some news. The appendix is one of these news. And for the next year, is there any news or nice things that you can share to us?
Well, it's nothing confidential per se, but I don't want to share because I don't want to take away from the news. But so there will be things coming also in the new year for ACES. And I think specifically one thing, it's almost ready. We sort of will probably be launching it, like in spring next year. And I think it will again, hopefully, uh, energize. I mean, not that it's not the case, but like further energize the community, and also help like newcomers to the program. We've heard from a lot of ACES. It's like, hey, we want uh, the next generation, right? It's like a lot of us have done this for a long, long time. As you kind of get older, you kind of, which is good. You want to kind of pass on your knowledge, and we're working towards that to facilitate that. And there will be at least one initiative coming that will help the next gen aces, the newcomers into the program, regardless of which level, and it's open for any level to participate in that. And hopefully, it will be a fun experience. And we will also, double down on promoting the aces worldwide. So we're kind of actively thinking of what we can do there. We said at the very beginning for the ACE program, we, at its core, it is there to put you aces, these technology experts, these Oracle technology experts, into the spotlight. And any artist or actor will tell you cannot have enough spotlight. So we're working on adding more spotlights for you aces, and I hope you will appreciate that. And of course, the team has been fantastic. Cassandra and Joanna, they are amazing. They are always there for you if you need something. And we really have a plan of like expanding, but well thought through expanding, to add more benefit for everybody, for the aces that are in the program, for the new aces that are coming, and of course for Oracle as well. And I think the ACE program has morphed in a couple of different ways, and or like it has changed a couple of times. Right, as far as I understand it, it's actually this year's its 20-year anniversary. We sort of unfortunately missed that a little bit, but I tracked down just recently after AI world the numbers, and it was actually started in 2005. So maybe we do it, 21st celebration, birthday party celebration, or we wait for 25 years. But that's really good. So that's been around for a really, really long time. And in the time, like when you think of it, I mean, in 20 years, IT itself has changed, right? I mean, in 2005, the internet wasn't even that broad as it's now. I mean, like broadly spread as that everybody has like access everywhere, right? We have all smartphones now, we have internet on our phones, whatever, we can stream, tether in from our phones, etc. 2005 looked very different, right? 2005 was like, oh, there's a guy who wrote a book, and it's like a really thick book, and it's a really good book, and that still happens, but it's different now. And we will just keep going, right? It's like with the times, and making sure that we are very respectful of the aces times as well. I was always very cognizant that people like you doing this by definition, because to qualify as an ace you have to like out voluntarily. It's not your day job. You're not going to get paid. You do this voluntarily, and that is always front and center in my head. So it's like avoid any kind of like processes and hoops as much as we can, and give back as much as we can. Um, but yeah, so stay tuned. I mean, the apprentice level here is, just to give that one more plug, is specifically geared to, because I got a lot of questions and I think we've addressed them mostly, but there's a lot of technology experts, a lot of Oracle technology experts out there that have used, whatever it is, Golden Gate, Oracle Cloud, database, Fusion apps, for many, many years, but they don't know how to be an advocate. They don't know how to blog, where to start, what to do, what not to do. And the apprentice level is literally geared to give these advocacy skills to those people. So if you're an Oracle technology expert and you think you know don't really have what you need to be, with the likes of some of our biggest ace directors, and how can you ever live up to that? Fear not, there's now this apprentice program that you can join where we will essentially teach you how to be a successful ace associate, right? And you take it from there. So hopefully that will lower the fear of joining. There's like this imposter syndrome, right? So hopefully this will lower this fear of joining the program. Am I good enough? And help a lot of people on the way, and in turn help a lot of aces. They can sign up for mentoring these apprentices, right? It's like help grow the community as a whole and make new friends, and make new acquaintances, learn new cultures, and all the good stuff we've talked about on this show here already.
Okay. And you mentioned about Cassandra and Oana, which help us a lot. And yes, this year they helped me a lot. So Cassandra and Oana, thank you very much for all the support of these years, because I was like a troublemaker guy sometimes, asking a lot of things, and you always was so nice and supported me very well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks to them.
Yeah. Okay, nice. So the ACE program is increasing more and more, and for the next year, I can see that the idea is make the program bigger and bigger and support people that are working on Oracle and want to be part of. But now, if you uh, are wonder how we have the apprentice level that can help and support you start from the beginning, right?
Yeah, right. And it's,
Mhm.
parallel to everything else we're doing. If you are an advocate out there already, somebody can nominate you, you can nominate yourself. So there is like, this is not like a new, you have to do this. This is really geared for a new audience. And we got great feedback on this already. I mean, we had several aces who said, God, I have like, colleagues that are perfect for this. It's like they know their stuff. They are, they know more than me, sometimes even, and they just are intimidated by, like, I don't want to blog, I don't want to speak, I don't want to record a podcast, whatever it may be, right? It's like, where do I start? And it is intimidating to start. It's like, I know it
Mhm.
from my experience. It's like the first blog post is like, nothing is as scary as an empty page. Chat GPT has maybe remedied that a bit, but then it's like, is it good enough, right? It's like, how often you read your first couple of blog posts over and over again because they're just not good enough. And
Yeah.
yeah, this should really help these people to, essentially come into the program after this day. I said we give them all the skills to be a successful ace associate, and then take it from there, right? It's like, hopefully, they go
Yeah.
beyond and stay in the program for many, many years, maybe make it to pro, maybe stay associate. This is another change we did. We like the ace program kind of was from a very exclusive program. When well, originally it was a very exclusive program. It kind of was like, you can only get in if somebody else invites you in, like another ace. I believe that was the case. I wasn't around back then, but that's what I'm told. Then we had these levels, and the levels are really there to kind of appreciate that some people do more than others. And there's nothing wrong with the amount that you do. It's like, some people, like, enjoy doing it more and have more free time. Others have families, or travel a lot for work. There's no right or wrong. And but like, the levels were set up in a way that it was a one-way street. It's like, there was a goal to get to the top, and then if you, for whatever reason, in a year couldn't reach the top anymore, if you didn't get enough points, then you were kind of kicked out, and that made no sense to me. So that was something that I very quickly changed. It's like, you are, the goal should be for every ace to be part of this community, to be part in, be part of the ace program, to be in it. The level is really not so important. It's like, if you do enough for a pro, you do enough for a pro. If you do enough for an associate, you do enough. And like, now you kind of, your move is bi-directional. So it's like, the biggest this one sad story we heard is like, during the pandemic, we have people that were scared to drop out of the program because, like, with literally one person who said, I have had a loss in the family, and due to COVID. And like I was preoccupied. I didn't get enough blog posts out there, and now I don't have enough points to remain on the level I was on. And I don't want to really leave the program. It was like because of this. And I read that email. I got this email sent and forwarded, and I was from the team, and I was honestly devastated and heartbroken. Right? It's like the ACE program, like that you remain in the program, should not have been in this person. I shouldn't even have been a concern, right? I mean, if you have a loss in your family, that's bad enough. During the time of the pandemic, it was devastating. And so it's like I was like, why is he, concerned about leaving the program? Well, because if he doesn't have enough points to the last year, then he's out. It's like, yeah, that rule goes now. Tell the person he stays in the program. You should not worry about it. It's like, take care of your family, take care of yourself. And now you can move bi-directional. And it's like, hopefully people understand that also, that look, if one year you're a new father, or you had some situation or whatever it is, it's like, and you just make it to associate, well, then you just make it to associate. Next year you can be a pro again. It's not no longer a one-way street. It's like the level is just an appreciation for the for the contributions that are being made, because likewise, it's not fair to those that do really a lot to just call them the same ace as somebody who does less. And again, there's nothing right or wrong about any of this. It's just not fair, right? It's like, and originally we didn't have those levels, and people did say that. It's like, look how many blog posts I did and how much I traveled, etc. And I'm like, the same as this other person, and who barely did anything. And I mean, their words, not our words, right? And yeah, it's true. I mean, sure, there is, people put more, I mean, not put more effort, and people have time to contribute more, and people have time to contribute less, and both is welcome. And we appreciate that with those levels. And the levels they are no longer a pyramid. It's like your goal to be in the ACE program. I iterated one more time, and then I think I drove the point home. But it's like, the goal to be in the ACE program is to be in the ACE program. Your goal should never be to get to the top. We want all of you to be in the program. Every single ACE is doing amazing work, and we are deeply grateful for all the work they're doing, because we appreciate that this is done in their free time voluntarily. Um, and for those that do more and get to director or pro, great. And for those who have a year where they couldn't do so much more and they come down, great. And for those who are happy with where they are, great. Everything and everybody is welcome.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Really inspiring. And the most important thing is to be part of the program, helping
Right.
with your time and your knowledge. And talk about we are almost in the end of our session, Gerald. But there is one topic that I wanted to talk with you quickly, if you don't mind. Uh, we talk about Oracle, we talk about ACE program, but I saw in your LinkedIn one video that you was in Spain in a conference or something like this related to database language. And I know that you also is part of the Cloud Native Complete Foundation, the DM 32.
32. Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
can you tell a little bit about all of these work or initiative that you be part of?
yes. So the Spanish conference, it was actually not a conference, the one in Barcelona, I'm part of the SQL standards, the ISO SQL standards committee. And we actually just had another meeting yesterday and this morning. We meet regularly. This one happened over Zoom. In September, we were actually in Barcelona, and we met all up there. And the next one is actually Brazil, and that might be another ticket for me to finally get to Brazil, but we'll see about that.
Uh,
But
I would not. I wouldn't say that, but the signals is there.
yeah. So yeah,
With
so
the
I'm
aids or with the
right.
SQL
Exactly. I mean, ideally, I get
community.
to both, right, and go twice.
Mhm.
So yeah, so the I'm part of the SQL standard. So the DM32 is the national standards organization in the US. That's basically the ANSI standard. So like to be part of the ISO, the International Standards Organization, you only participate through a national body, which in the US happens to be ANSI. And so you're kind of automatically part of both. So when you see like the ISO, JTC, and DM32, sort of means the same thing, but you're part of both of these groups. One is, ANSI, or the national body of your country, and the other one is being part of the ISO, the International Standards Organization body. So that is a lot of fun. Like being like, working, helping. I think I'm more helping driving the SQL standard than actively contributing. I have a bit of an imposter syndrome. There's people in there, like colleagues of mine as well, that have done this for 30 years, and it's mind blowing what they're doing there. And the CNCF ambassador, the CNCF, short for Cloud Native Computing Foundation ambassador, is the Cloud Native Computing Foundation is part of the Linux Foundation. It's a subgroup of the Linux Foundation, specifically focusing on cloud native technologies. Started out with Kubernetes, but now it's a lot more. And they have an ambassador program, which you can literally think of it like it's like an ACE program that they have. And through my work for containerization with Oracle Database and various other things that I've done, actually outside of my day job as well. Nothing. I mean, I did dockerize some Oracle Database images, years ago as my day job, but not anymore. And through those contributions, I was basically nominated to join the CNCF ambassador program. And like for people who understand the ACE program, it's similar to that. It's like the air recognition program for people that work in or contribute to the cloud native community. And I think we are better in the ACE program than the CNCF ambassadors, but they're great.
This is nice because you you're responsible for a program in Oracle, and you also is part as a member in another program. So you can have these two sides of experience.
Exactly. See, remember when I said, developers go like, he's dangerous, he knows how to develop? Like also for aces, I'm dangerous because I am like an ace on the other side too. So
you like to be a dangerous guy. I can see now. I understand.
Yeah. So
you're like infiltrated. Okay, good. All right, Jared. Thank you very much for your time to be here in the GoldenTalks session. I know that if you have more time, you're going to spend here more 1, 2, maybe 3 hours talking about many things. But the GoldenTalks session usually it's shorter, and we just reach the end. So I want to thank you once again to you share with us your experience, your knowledge, your timing, and it was really a pleasure to be with you today here.
Yeah, thank you very, very much for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
And thanks to share all of the things about the ACE program. I have to confess that I'm wondering what is going to happen next year. So I wait and let's see. And I also be waiting you here in Brazil.
Sounds good.
You have two opportunities now. You confessed it. You have two opportunities.
I have two opportunities. That's true. Although I also understand Brazil is a very big country, so
yeah,
depending where in Brazil is still a question.
Good. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you, and I'm gonna end the GoldenTalks sessions as I always do. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe the channel, give your like, and the most important thing, share knowledge and replicate this video. Okay, see you guys, and have a nice end of year. Bye-bye.